Good morning again. Last time I did a video, we made this solar panel, which is now turned into a workbench. And since that time, I've made a couple of larger ones. Kind of see them all through the window out there, but I thought first I would kind of talk about making them a little bit. So here's my bucket to mix my Bondo fiberglass resin. Here's my box of solar cells. So I used up quite a few of them already. I have 60 of them outside and a few there. So here's the solar cells, like I probably showed last time. Kind of want to talk a little bit about how to assemble these into a panel. Kind of stuck together there a little bit. Here's such a sign. That's good. Didn't happen before this, but alright, so here's the solar cells. These strips that you see on the left and right on the top side are basically positive, and then the back plane and the back strips are negative. And so when you assemble these together, kind of lay them on your sheet of glass, you're protecting. I kind of pull these tabs up. Grab one. And you slide these two together, and the idea is to leave a little air gap between the two panels, like so. And then you put some flux down here and here. And then what I do is when I'm soldering this, I lay a piece of solder underneath between it, and I push this down on the soldering iron and sandwich it, solder it together, hold it down with something cool, bam, it's done. So I need to repeat that process. It's pretty quick, doesn't take very much solder. Having said that, let's go look at the construction of the solar panels that we made. So here's about 9:30 in the morning, end of March. Not the best that I ever built. I just wanted to do a proof of concept here. So what these things are is two sheets of glass from like a solar powered water heater. So these are 46 inches wide by 96 inches tall. And so I made a frame out of treated 2x8s that I just ripped down to about 1 3/4 inches on the outside. I dadoed them around to put the glass into, put some internal supports on the back side, because it had some temporary supports I put across that actually help pretty good. Handles. These things are very heavy to move around by myself. So then to put the solar panels on, they're laid out in series, they flow down, up, down, and the wires are kind of connected all together at the bottom here. Both of them, I have these two panels wired in series. There's 60 panels here right now. In the morning they're generating 125 volts together. So I used some fiberglass screen that I had left over just as a backer. About a gallon of Bondo per 4x8 panels is more than enough. Kind of as you learn as you go. I think I put way too much on, but you can kind of see all the air gaps. These are important. If these touch, you can have a short. So that's the panel. And right now I have it running a little floodlight, which is kind of hard to see in the sun. Step into the shadow of my 2004 Suburban, which has served us well. I recommend them. So they're torn off with a nice little bit of heat. So the question is, now what? So I plan on making a few more solar panels as I get glass and materials. And my idea is that traditionally there's two methods to go. You do this kind of like a standalone system, off-grid, and then you have battery backup, you know, an inverter, and then you know, just maybe make a branch that's all by itself. And the second method that's out there is a grid tie system, where you buy a special inverter that kind of monitors the incoming power from the utility and adds to it when it can, and then if that shuts off, then the inverter shuts off to protect anybody who be working on that system upstream of your home. There's kind of, I was thinking yesterday, is, man, there's got to be another way. Why can't I switch between the two systems? And kind of like, I did some research online. Of course, everybody has the idea that you had. You fill it out. And so there's another method, I think, like a grid assist, where you can kind of toggle between your incoming utility power and your solar power. I guess my compressor just kicked in. Actually, I know that. So I've been doing some research on that, so you can basically use a switch to switch between the two, and I think I'm going to chase down that idea, so I can wire a few outlets that are underneath load to run off solar when it's there, maybe have a battery backup system, and then use utility power at night and such. So there's my two panels I made. Actually, it's pretty quick to make them. Next time I do it, I'll do a little bit more QC, quality control, but so far so good. Thanks for watching.